Movie 2, the second part, is directed by Mike Mitchell instead of the Phil Lord and Christopher Miller duo. They have, however, written the script for this one, unlike the first movie, which they wrote and directed. And if you remember the ending of the first film, creatures from Diplo, the other Lego big property, came and decided to destroy Bricksburg. Cut to 5 years later, and Bricksburg is now a Planet of the Apes style city called Apocalypseburg, where everything is not awesome. Everyone's in a pretty negative, dour mood because the aliens are pretty much going to keep coming back over and over again and destroying different parts of their entire livelihood. Except for Emmett, who continues to remain happy and cheerful and listening to music. But when a very strange alien ship with a very strange person inside of it named Sweet Mayhem, played by Stephanie Beatriz, shows up and kidnaps some of our favorite characters, our favorite supporting characters, Emmett realizes he has to do something about it to save them, along with a very unexpected ally named Rex Dangervest, who was also played by Chris Pratt. I was excited for this film, but also skeptical. When it comes to sequels to movies, in the first one, like being amazing, it's always a very, very precarious position to be in. You're always kind of worried that what are they going to do next that'll top that or it'll come close to it. And so when I saw the marketing for the Lego Movie 2, I was excited enough, but I was still a little concerned. I have to say, after watching the movie, that, yeah, I'm very impressed. It's kind of spectacular how close this comes to the first movie. For starters, the animation is much crisper, is much more beautiful, it's much more vibrant. They do a lot with creating new dimensions for the Lego world, because they're integrating the fact that a lot of the film is literally taking place through the imagination of a child in the first movie. And the last scene of that first movie was the fact that the kid's sister is going to be like a part of the world too. You see the two worlds kind of mesh together. So you see her world, which she's created, and you see the world our original kid character has created, and how the two of them are merging. And that's kind of interesting. There's a lot of great conceptual ideas brought up in that, especially with the world Sweet Mayhem is from, and like Queen whatever wannabe. And there's a lot of great stuff and lots of great ideas in that. In fact, that character, whatever wannabe, a very unique character in terms of design. They play around so much with her appearance and what she can do, and it was one of the most interesting animations of the entire movie. And this character is there for a pretty long time. They do a lot with actually a lot of different characters in this film, but one of my favorite things about the first film was that how they took someone who, like Emmett, who was a character surrounded by some very iconic supporting characters, and they made him probably the most endearing part of that first movie. In fact, they did make him the most endearing part of that first film. And once again, they continue to prove that casting Chris Pratt for this character was the best choice they could have made. He's perfect. I have no idea who did this, but whoever thought, hey, yeah, we should cast him, deserves a trophy for that. I mean, he's perfect for a character like this. And while playing Rex Dangervest, which is essentially a combination of every iconic character Chris Pratt has played up till now, like Andy from Parks and Recreation, Owen from Jurassic World, and of course Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy, and then 25% of him is also shades of Emmett and the actual Chris Pratt. So with all of these things added in, including the fact that he has an army force which is raptors, you got a pretty sweet movie out of this. There's also lots of meta jokes which continue into this film, and once again, I feel like you're gonna have to watch the film again to catch on to all of them. There are so many different references made. There's one hilarious joke where I think it's Gandalf. He says, "Listen, you have no idea. We're in a lot of trouble. We just lost all of our superheroes, which are in our universe, and Marvel isn't accepting our calls." Yeah, right. That way, they're able to do a lot more with Batman, which is an interesting thing because they establish in this film that Lego Batman is very much so in the same universe. It's not like a parallel dimension. It's the same world. It's just that it's a completely different thing that was going on at the same time as certain events that were going on in Bricksburg were happening. So they even reference that fact. Like at one point in time, things are in a very things are very dire and things are going like to hell. And one character asks, "Where's Batman?" It's like he's in his own standalone movie. So it's like, yeah, that so it was taking place during the Lego Batman movie. That's pretty cool. So they have a lot of little references like that to other things. No references to Ninjago though, unless I missed it. They're just not like Ninjago. The writing is really what makes this film as good as it is. You know, Lord and Miller are very talented. They are people who I consider very highly. In fact, after watching Spider-Verse, which they also wrote, I first thought, you know, I would have loved to see what they did with Solo. More than anything, now I want to see what they did with Solo. And after watching this movie, I'm even more so asking that question. Like, what were they doing before they got fired from that movie? I'm curious. As for flaws, I really only have one little issue in that I think, as much as I love this film, the reason why I think it's maybe a hair below the first one is because I think the first one was a little more fresh and fun. This one is kind of like 22 Jump Street, which is also coincidentally Lord and Miller, in that also had the same effect. If you've seen both those movies, you know that 22 was a hair below that first one because the first one just refined it a little bit more than that for the second one did. Same thing kind of happens here. In fact, exactly the same thing happens here. So, since I love 22 Jump Street almost as much as I love 21 Jump Street, I love this as much as I love the first Lego movie. Almost as much. I'm gonna give the Lego movie 2, the second part, a 9.5 out of 10. Just a hair below that first one, like literally right there. First one's kind of a masterpiece for me. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Look forward to more reviews very soon. As always, if you like this, please do subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the movies. Snap's not working today.